everybody. Welcome to Baking with playHOORAY. Not really, don't panic, because if you've been following me for a while, you will know that I can't bake, won't bake, so it's definitely not baking. However, I thought I would share with you my Play-Doh recipe. It's really easy, never fails me, don't have to cook it either. It's a recipe I created when I was teaching in school. It's always really worked. Just before we go ahead with it, just to say, homemade Play-Doh doesn't necessarily mean that it tastes safe for children. The salt content is far too high for young children that are still tasting their play. So just be aware of that. It has a lot of salt in this one. Right, so I'm going to share with you my Play-Doh recipe. I'm looking down because actually I've not made it for ages. I have to confess, I always have packs of pre-bought Play-Doh in the cupboards because there are those days where you're caught off guard, you might have a little one that's poorly, you might be poorly and you just need something to grab. So I do always have those. And I've not made this for ages, so I thought it was about time I share my recipe with you. This is actually included in my Messy Play recipe cards. I no longer sell them as physical cards, but you can get them as a download, okay? And then you can download it, have it on your phone or print it at home, whatever. And I'm doing the Play-Doh recipe from there. Right, before we start, I've already pre-boiled a kettle and I'm just letting it cool down a little bit. It's a nice one to do with children, get them involved. However, it does contain boiling water that's slightly cooled. All right, so because I haven't done this for ages, let's just get on. Let's just see how it goes, shall we? Now, before we start, actually, I'm going to take my rings off. I should have done this before. Apologies. No Blue Peter presenter, am I? And I've got to keep it under 10 minutes, otherwise IGTV will cut me off. Right, so what we're going to use is some flour. I don't have plain flour. I have self-raising, but it doesn't matter. Now then, like I've said, you know that I can't bake, and mainly because I don't like it, because you have to stick to a recipe. It's all science with baking, and I'm rubbish at that. So all my measurements are in cups, like as in proper measuring cup sizes. So it just makes life a whole lot easier. Right, so you're going to need 1 cup of flour. Now it does say 1.5, and I'll show you why, because the half is more of a backup, so you're not too short. So you need 1 cup of flour, 1/4 of a cup of salt, and yeah, I'm completely winging it and just having a little guess. I'm just using this table salt. I always have it in for making Play-Doh. Something like that. Something like that. Chuck it in. That's my style of cooking. So I'm just going to give that a little mix. It's gone to the back of my throat. Okay, so I've already pre-boiled the kettle with some water. I'm going to give that a little mix. Right, now then, this bit is where, so I use coconut oil in my Play-Doh recipe. I think it makes the Play-Doh smell gorgeous. It's always also got a really lovely texture about it, and I think it's lovely on children's hands as well. Obviously, you've got to be aware of allergies, but I love using coconut oil. Now, I get this cheap. I think this is actually an Aldi one, but Home Bargains, lots of places now actually sell coconut oil as it's become more and more popular. Now then, it's a bit tough to get out sometimes, and again, this is just rough. 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, and what I like to do is just loosen it all up. As you can see, it's not been used for a while. I don't know if you've used coconut oil before, but it does warm up in your hands and loosen, so that's why I take my rings off. I like to get my hands involved. You might want to do this same with the kids, and if you just rub it between your hands, it soon turns into a liquid. It's really lovely to use with the kids. I really like it, but yeah, just be aware of allergies and that sort of thing. Maybe should have done this later, shouldn't I? Because I'm going to have really sticky hands now. Alright, so I'm just going to wipe that all off, most of it, and put it in there. Give it a quick mix up. It smells gorgeous already. I really love coconut. I don't know about you. I'm the one who eats the bounties in those little miniature things that everyone else leaves, but I actually really like that. So I just find that by melting it a little bit helps it spread, and I'm just crumbling it in for the moment. Okay, and then, shouldn't have done this. So I've got a dog wanging at the back door, wants to be out. I think he spotted a squirrel or something. All right, let's shake that off. I have a tea towel nearby, bear with me, excuse me, as it goes everywhere. Right, okay, so the next bit, I'm looking down again. 10 grams of cream of tartar. You can buy it in a big pot. Shop that near me sells them in these sachets, which is annoying because it makes it more expensive. So 10 grams, these, I know that these come in 5 packs. I've done this plenty of times. So pop those in there. Now then, next we are going to look at adding the water. But before we do that, so that's now got in the flour, the salt, the oil, and the cream of tartar. Give that a gentle mix. So Blue Peter, isn't it? So Blue Peter, although I'm not being very good at looking at the camera. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my pre-boiled water, so it's still pretty hot, and I just need, I'm just going to do half a cup for now. You can always add to it. I'm going to pour it in here because I want to show you. Now then, this is when I add the food colouring. So I actually mix the food colouring with the water because I find that it gives a much more even consistency of the colour rather than getting lumps, as you sometimes do if you put it straight into the flour. Sorry, my hands are still really sticky. Okay, now in here, my glamorous box. This is where I store food colouring that I use for doing activities like this. I have it in one of these boxes because they have the locks on for children. I mean, Mason's 5, but you just never know. He could pull up a chair and get to the top of the cupboard and still get into it. So they're fab having, I put food colouring in these boxes. I used to put like craft scissors, glitter. Glitter stays in one of these boxes just in case your back's ever turned and they get hold of it without you wanting to, because it could be really messy. Now these are the ones that I'm going to use. I was going to choose pink today. Nice pink colour, maybe with spring, greens, yellows, maybe Easter is soft pinks, soft blues, pastels are good for Easter, could be quite nice. These are the ones that I use, Sugar Flare. It's a food colouring paste, so you only need a small amount, but a small amount goes a long way with these. I'm not going to be able to get the lid off now, am I, because I've got the camera on. Don't look at this, guys. Ever the professional. I've got it all down my mouth. Okay, so it's quite strong in its consistency and you only need a tiny amount. So cost-wise, they last a lot longer than those little bottles you get in the supermarket. Still fine, but if you want a really vibrant colour, I really recommend these. I get mine on Amazon. They're for catering and things. And all I do is mix in the colour in the water. It just makes a better consistency. It says, I just scrunch it off, give it a good old mix. It's more of a blood red than pink, that one, actually. And like I said, it's really interesting. Different times of year, different colours work really well. So if you wanted to make a play-doh, like I said, green, yellow, can be really nice for this time of year. Okay, so that's mixed in really well now. And then I'm just going to add that in bit by bit to my mixture. And as you can see, it's a lovely bright colour already. Now then, as you mix it, just be careful because you don't want it too wet and sticky and sloppy. No one wants sloppy Play-Doh, do they? When it sticks to the surface, sticks to their hands and everything. Just to say as well, having this food colouring in Play-Doh has never stained Mason's hands or my hands. Sometimes stains them if I've touched the bottle or bitten the bottle. There you go, you see I've already put in too much water. Just going to give it a better mix. I've only got a minute left. Now then, once we've made our Play-Doh, I then store it in a Ziploc bag. I'm going to keep sprinkling more flour because I've just done too much water in there. I think that was more than half a cup. Of course, it wasn't going to work straight away on camera with people watching, was it? That would have been too easy. Okay, now I'm going to get my hands in. It's quite warm, but it's not too hot, so a child would probably be able to handle this. But it does smell beautiful. Now then, yeah, once I've made my Play-Doh, we've had a little play with it and all that sort of stuff, and you think, I'll put it away. It does last for a good few weeks, and I actually store mine in some sort of airtight container or a Ziploc bag or something like that. Now, when you get it out, if you find that it's dry, don't add more oil, actually splash it with a little bit of water. I find works really well. There we go, it's come together. Now, the coconut oil just makes it a little bit bouncy and a bit lovely. Right, there you go. That's how to make Play-Doh. The recipe is written up on the website. I'm running out of time, so have a look on the website, look for Play-Doh. The recipe is written up for you. I hope that helps.